to be joined virtually by our guests from the World Food Program. First up will be the World Food Program Country Director for the Multi-Country Caribbean Office, Brian Bogart, who will speak to us from Kingston. And after we hear from him, we'll hear from WFP's Country Director in Cuba, Etienne Leband. Mr. Bogart, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I think as everyone will have seen, last week Hurricane Melissa wreaked havoc across the Caribbean, devastating coastal communities and the agricultural heartland of Jamaica, cutting off communities in Cuba and causing flooding across Haiti. The UN World Food Program is actively supporting governments on coordination and working to drive the scale-up of response to populations in critical need of life-saving assistance. WFP has begun emergency food distributions in these countries for the most vulnerable families and is providing telecommunications and logistics support to the broader humanitarian community. In Jamaica, WFP has been working around the clock since the all-clear was given to assess needs, develop joint plans and strategies with government and partners, and make sure that food is safely reaching affected people in the hardest hit areas. It is our commitment to meeting urgent food needs as requested by national authorities and our international partners. Many people across Jamaica have lost their homes, they've lost their livelihoods, and they are still in shock 1 week after landfall. The Jamaican people are resilient. They tell us they are, we see that they are, but they need urgent support to maintain that resilience. The most urgent needs are, as usual in these kinds of circumstances, food, water, shelter, and medicine. Murray Brown, a woman that I met in St. Elizabeth Parish, the hardest hit area by this crisis, told me from her home that this house had seen many hurricanes before, but never anything of the dimension of Hurricane Melissa. She told me that, with a smile, seated on her porch. On the operational side, WFP has managed to airlift 2,000 food kits from our regional logistics hub that we have established with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency in Barbados to Kingston, and we continue to airlift additional supplies while we're standing up a commodity pipeline of assistance from markets here in Jamaica and working with the national authorities to coordinate delivery of that assistance to people in need by air and by road. More shipments are arriving this week of critical humanitarian supplies, and WFP is facilitating the transportation of this assistance in coordination with partners across the UN system. One French Navy vessel loaded with relief items arrived in Kingston's harbor yesterday, and a Dutch vessel is arriving and offloading as we speak. WFP plans to assist up to 200,000 people across the country with food assistance and transition to cash as and when markets begin to recover. This is critical for transitioning from an immediate humanitarian response to a longer-term recovery strategy, supporting markets and supporting the economy of the government of the country of Jamaica. UN agencies are working to support the government's relief efforts, and we work hand in hand in emergency preparedness, which is paying off as we respond today. The Caribbean Regional Logistics Hub in Barbados is continuing to airlift supplies along with the United Nations Humanitarian Response Depot in Panama. Thanks to support from Canada and the European Union, we had pre-positioned relief items that we have been able to bring swiftly to Jamaica. The United States is also providing air transportation to allow us to reach hard-to-reach communities in the most impacted areas. Starting this week, the European Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operation will support an air bridge operation to dispatch life-saving supplies covering shelter, health, water and sanitation, and logistics from WFP corporate stocks and humanitarian partners. The United Kingdom has also announced a contribution, and others are expected to join. This is indeed a true expression of multilateral support at its very best. To summarize, it is our commitment to meet the most urgent needs of the people in Jamaica and to support long-term recovery efforts to ensure that the people of this country remain food secure. I'll stop here and pass on to my colleague Etienne in Havana.
Thank you. Mr. Leband, the floor is yours. Hold on. Hold on, we need to get your audio. One sec. Can you bring up the audio from Havana?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, great. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I think you can hear me now.
Yep.
Not sure.
Yes. Thank you. Please proceed.
Go ahead, Mr. Etienne.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Brian, and thank you all. As you know, Hurricane Melissa made landfall in the Santiago de Cuba province as a Category 3 hurricane, but still charged with a lot of rains. It has left behind widespread flooding, power outages, and heavy damage with crops lost, and many buildings partially or fully destroyed in the eastern part of the country. That includes hospitals, schools, and other basic services premises. Having WFP staff on the ground was critical to ensure fast and effective response. Their deep understanding of the local context, ability to coordinate with authorities and communities, and experience in emergency settings allow us to deliver food assistance quickly to those who need it the most. This direct presence shortens response times and strengthens evidence-based decision-making for the entire UN community. Another particularity is that thanks to the anticipatory action framework recently adopted by Cuba, coupled with a pre-approved SURF allocation, UN agencies were able to pre-position key supplies in vulnerable areas ahead of Hurricane Melissa's landfall. Anticipatory actions, it's now demonstrated, not only save lives, they also optimize resources and reinforce the resilience of Cuba's emergency response system. The ongoing response is an outcome of preparedness work alongside the Cuban government. Hundreds of thousands of people were evacuated ahead of the shock to protection centers, and WFP and the government prepositioned food supplies to support 75,000 people for up to 60 days. In the immediate aftermath, food distribution have already reached 180,000 people in protection centers across the provinces of Granma, Santiago de Cuba, Guantanamo, Holguin, and Las Tunas. The air operation Brian mentioned earlier is managed regionally and will be a key element of the response to meet the immediate needs here in Cuba in the most efficient way. Funding permitting, we plan to assist 900,000 people for 3 months and half of those in need of assistance for an additional 3 months. The United Nations in Cuba finalized its response plan, which has been approved by the government and will be launched officially tomorrow from La Habana, appealing for a total of $74 million US dollars, all sector included, and aiming at assisting around 1 million persons affected over a period of 12 months, including the recovery period. If you allow me, I would like to give you a quick brief as well on the situation in Haiti, where the impact of Melissa is aggravating a complex humanitarian crisis. Even before Melissa hit, 1 in 2 Haitians were already severely food insecure. Armed groups control large areas of the capital and other regions, complicating food movements within the country. Our colleagues are reporting that homes and infrastructure have been washed away along the southern coast, where 1,250,000 people are estimated to be affected by the hurricane. Also in Haiti, we've seen that acting early, even before disaster strikes, is key to protect lives and livelihoods. Anticipatory payments worth $900,000 were provided to approximately 50,000 people, and some 3.5 million text messages were sent with practical guidance on how to prepare for and stay safe during the storm. Following the impact of Melissa, WFP has already reached thousands of people with emergency food distributions in the south of the country and is scaling up to reach 190,000 people as part of the response. WFP's continued work with governments in the Caribbean to prepare for hurricanes makes much easier a joint integrated response once they hit. And they will continue to hit. We must be ready. Today we're calling for $74 million to deliver life-saving assistance to up to 1.1 million people in the Caribbean and coordinate emergency logistics and telecommunications. We're grateful to all the donors that have pledged contributions and to the private sector and individual that are donating to this emergency response operation. But recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. We need to help people get back on their feet and protect their resilience from future shocks. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions from the room? Yes, Pam.
Yes, it's to Etienne. It's Pamela Falk from U.S. News and World Report on the impact. You can't hear? No. No. Yes.
Apologies, we are not hearing you in the room.
Hold on one sec. Let us know when the room is connected again. Are we set? Okay, Pam, go.
All right. I don't know if Gay was going to do this, but thank you on behalf of UN Correspondents Association. I'm Pamela Falk from U.S. News and World Report. Thank you for the briefing. My question is to Etienne on the impact in Cuba. The U.S. had said it was sending $3 million. Was that accepted by Cuba in terms of aid for the hurricane, despite tense relations? And on Guantanamo itself, were you able to access the base since I think it was 3,000 non-essential personnel had been evacuated, but the detainees there and the courthouse and other essential personnel stayed at the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base? So both of those. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I hope I didn't miss the first part because we didn't have sound. On the U.S. announcement, I cannot confirm. That's a bilateral discussion between the U.S. government and the Cuban government. I didn't hear anything or yes or no, but we are obviously very alert on finding the outcome of that. The second one, we don't have access to Guantanamo if you're speaking about the base. Yes. We have access to the Guantanamo province, but I cannot tell you anything about what's happening in the Guantanamo base. I'm sorry.
And just as a follow-up, that money was going to be funneled through the Catholic Church, the U.S. aid. Are you in contact with the Catholic Church and other NGOs that are receiving money from different places, or does WFP just do the money that's given to you, distribute the money and aid that's given to you?
Well, within the United Nations agencies in Cuba, we are coordinating the response. So, beyond the possible contribution from the US to the Catholic Church, which is not confirmed at the moment, as far as I know, we are coordinating through the coordination mechanism with the government, all the assistance which is coming, because there's a lot of private contributions. There's a lot of caritative organizations that are doing things as well. So what we are trying to do as much as we can is to coordinate the assistance so there's no duplication on the ground.
Thank you very much. And if I may, also to Brian, my question is on the Haiti aid. There were a lot of places that were hard to reach. Were drones used to drop any food? There was a program that goes back a long way with WFP on use of drones to deliver some of this. Have you been able to reach the hard to reach places? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I confirm you're referring to Haiti?
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
I would have to get back to you on that. I do know that we do have drone capacity and we have supported in Haiti. I do not believe that we've used drones for delivery of physical assistance in Haiti, but we can get back to you and confirm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, please. Islam.
Thank you very much. Islam Doğru from Anadolu Agency. My question for Mr. Bogart. You mentioned that you are planning to reach 200,000 people for food assistance. Is this for on daily basis? what's your plan to reach on daily basis and for how long in Jamaica? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think those figures are still being determined in terms of the final number of people that we will reach and for how long. Assessments are still being done. What we plan to do, at least for now, so that we have a target to aim for, is to focus on scaling up to reach 200,000. And as Etienne mentioned, for Cuba, in a very similar fashion, coordinating with other partners and the government to reach the total number of people in need. That total number of people in need of food assistance is still being determined. Assessment teams are on the ground. What we would also like to do, as I mentioned, is look at what we can do to support the government, including through dissemination of cash assistance based on macro insurance payouts from the Caribbean Risk Insurance Financing Facility. We would like to play a role in ensuring that we have targeted assistance going to households and providing technical support for those efforts. So in total, we intend to contribute to much more than 200,000 indirectly, but the target right now for food assistance and cash is 200,000. That could adjust as and when assessment information comes back.
Are there any other questions in the room? Any questions online? If not, I'd like once more to thank our guests, Brian Bogart, the WFP Country Director for the Multi-Country Caribbean Office, and Etienne Leband, the WFP Country Director in Cuba. Thanks very much. Thanks for your briefing and for all your efforts. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.